today. So we'll start off on your very left with Rajallah Qureshi Uncle, who has been our second from the general body elected president. And during his time, we had many amazing things that have occurred. He was the president during the 1980s and 1981, and what we had was a purchase of the MCC building, the Elston building. And I still remember growing up in that building when the red room was still red, and we had the velvet couches, the circular ones that adorned the hallways of MCC. And just growing up there, the youth camp starting, Sunday school starting, a lot of things happened during your time. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about was specifically how we got to this area of using a general body to appoint our leaders, and also some of the challenges that you faced during this time, especially during the purchase of the Elston building, and just kind of what led up to us getting here. Before we had a general body election and had elections to elect our presidents, we were board appointed, so this was an amazing time to see that shift. So if you can enlighten us to what that was like. Okay. I'll give you mine.
Yeah, hello. You can hear me, I think. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, it so happens that I am the second president available from the seniority list. Brother Sayyid Abdul Majid is one who was before me, but he has been sick, so he's not been able to come here. I know we have short time, and I'll try to go at 200 miles an hour speed, hopefully. When MCC was formed, actually, there were some organizations, but there was ethnic orientation in all of those organizations, and also some of the organizations had some activity that compromised Islamic values. So one of the main reasons MCC was founded was to form an organization that will be for all Muslims with no national or ethnic name, and to bring everybody together, people of all fiqh and all ethnicities and languages on one platform, and also to make sure, safeguard the Islamic character so that there is no compromise in the activity. So with that, of course, a few people, 12 to 15 people got together in 1800 North Halstead, the Bosnian Center, and formed at least the idea was agreed, and then in September 1969, MCC was incorporated. Then we started with the standard bylaws, which any organization has. A lawyer gave us, and there were 7 board members who chose the officers from among themselves. Then we started looking at the bylaws to make them more compatible with the Islamic system, to pattern after the Khulafai Rashidin and the early Islam, and also to be compatible to the laws of the state. And there were different ideas, and it was discussed in the bylaws committee for several years. There were open hearings and consultations in small groups and all that, and it came up with 2 basic structures that were kind of debated then. One was board of trustees, so that people thought that small group can control the Islamicity, make sure that everything is within Islamic guidelines. But the other thinking was that if the membership itself, community goes bad, then what good is the board? So then the idea was that the supreme organ should be the general body of members, and that prevailed. So that was then in the general body, finally that was accepted, and the new bylaws were completely developed on that basis, separating the powers, executive and the policy-making bodies were separated. That's why the president was made to be elected by common members, so he is directly responsible to them, and he is primarily the executive head. And the board of directors is the Shura, the policy-making body, and that continues to this day. One of the reasons also was the MSA of US and Canada was the only organization at that time, and they had a similar setup. The president was elected, the board was elected by common member. So I think that should cover that aspect. In terms of challenges, from about like in 1972 or so, when the building was purchased, the community was really growing much faster. We were at Kedley, and also there was concerns about the locality, people were suffering because some people will lose their tires or the batteries when they came from Tarawih prayer. So they looked for a bigger place, and then we moved to Elston. Now, before moving to Elston, my challenge in my term was there was many properties we looked at, and finally we had a contract with a place, First Home Center at Foster and Pulaski, and it was in the city hall. There was a hearing. So when I was given the responsibility from the first day, within 2 weeks of my start, I had to face the Board of Appeals in the city of Chicago City Hall. And the bottom line was, there's no time to go in details. It was the time of hostage crisis, Iranian hostage crisis. So the sentiments were very much against Muslims. And so there were truckloads of people who went there, and they defeated. So our proposal was defeated, although we had all the legal ground.
Yeah.
Again,
So even there was a lot that happened during that time too, in terms of.
so I think that was a big challenge, and again, it's very difficult to cover everything in a short time. So I don't want to go any more further detail because it's getting too long. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. During your time, you had a lot of those challenges and many things that you had to surmount. So thank you for enlightening us on those things. Next up, I have Muhammad Usman Baki Uncle. And Baki Uncle, you wore many hats in the organization. You were my Sunday school teacher. And one of the things, you were the president during the 1996 and 1997 timeframe. But I think a lot of the things that you did before your presidency and during your time as a volunteer were very important to talk about. Two of the things that I think that are really important were the cemetery purchases that we made as MCC, as well as the purchase of MEC, which was our second building. Now that happened during the 80s, but I wish you could enlighten us on kind of what were some of the things that you had to go through in terms of getting the cemetery and the challenges that you had in getting the funds to purchase that MEC building that we had. And one fun fact that we have during your presidency was that we granted one honorary member of MCC who was the great boxer Muhammad Ali. So I'd love if you can just drop in what led to that as well. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Let them sit down and listen. Because if I have to explain to you, you will see that why we gave honorary membership to our beloved past 3 times world champion Muhammad Ali. And that's the only one we awarded or bestowed upon honorary membership from MCC before and after. Now, Section 6.1.3 of MCC Bibles reads, any Muslim who has rendered outstanding services to MCC or the cause of Islam or has achieved an outstanding level of efficiency in the studies of Islam shall be eligible to become an honorary member after being approved by majority vote of board of directors. So it is not something that you apply for and you get it. You have to be invited to get that. Muslim Community Center of Chicago, in cooperation with Council of Islamic Organization of Greater Chicago and Ministry of W.D. Muhammad, organized an event honoring living legend Muhammad Ali, 3 times heavyweight champion in the world, on April 25th. 1998 Hyatt Regency Hotel. Many Chicago dignitaries and politicians were present there. That's where we honored our champion. Approved by the MCC board earlier, Muhammad Ali was bestowed only honorary member of MCC, none before, none after. So that's how it came about. And I do not see anybody more deserving than Muhammad Ali, who has done so much good for Islam and the Muslim community at large around the world. At one time he was the most recognized face on the face of the earth. That's what he was. And we are proud to have him one and only honorable member of MCC. As far as the cemetery is concerned, that's a little different story. In 1989, after having visited large number of cemeteries and funeral homes in Chicago area, personally myself and with two other cohorts, Pir Muhammad and Raj Siddiqui, we went around the Chicago area cemeteries scouting for the space for our own cemetery. Why we did that one? Having been charged very high prices by Lagrange Cemetery for opening and closing and concrete grave liners, when Dr. Munir Ahmed, one of the principals, past principals we have seen in the movie, that when he died in 1984, we went to Lagrange Park for burial. The land was donated from the proceeds of one of the persons who died and given to Muslims for use. Though the land was free, but charges for opening, closing, liners, those things were so high, it was very prohibitive. So when we bought the cemetery plots in Chicago, Rose Hill Cemetery, within our community, I had to make sure that we are not holding the bag and somebody will take the advantage and take us to the cleaner. So we included, when we signed the agreement with Rose Hill Cemetery, we included the prices of the graves, opening and closing, liners and markers, all those things. The cost was very discounted cost and made sure that in the future also they did not raise the prices more than we had stipulated in that. So we did try to make sure our cemetery operation is not something very prohibitive, and that has paid off now. The graves that we bought in Rose Hill Cemetery, at $200 a piece, now they are selling for $2,000 a piece.
Yeah.
So those who invested and bought graves in advance, they have made tons of money, 10 times more.
So after we have the Canadian now too, and that's been accommodating a lot of the other graves that we have. So I'm gonna, just because we're short on time, I have to move down the list, and I apologize in advance that I'm gonna ask that Taser Dana go on the Taser
There's a little bit more about purchasing the MEC also.
If you can do it in 10 seconds, then we'll do it.
MEC that we produced, that was part previous board story. When we, MCC general body, turned down that it is so expensive, we did not want to buy the school. MMG, Muslim Management Group, individuals like Rashid Ali Khan, Sayyid Majid was our president also in the past, Dr. Iqbal Akhtar, and myself, we went ourselves, took upon ourselves, and built the particular school for $1.825 million. The price was so low and so attractive. Immediately we took it and turned it over and gave it to MCC at no more cost. But at the time of closing, the important thing is to know is this. When we brought the checks, we brought the checks from the community members, Karja Hasna, and some money from the day chairman at that time was sitting here in front of me. They gave us $600,000 with collateral from our titles of our houses. When we gave it to them, we took the money and more than 50 checks when we took it for the closing. The general superintendent of the school could not believe his eyes that so many people have given this money like that. So that's how we bought MCC. No packet, no pen, no nothing. That's how we put it up that particular today. Thanks.
SubhanAllah. That's the power of a community, to be able to bring together this type of funding, to be able to make that type of purchase. Thank you for sharing that history with us. Jazakallahu khairan. Yeah. So I have next with me Muhammad Taysiruddin, who served 2 3-year terms, and he served in 1988 to 91, and in 2002 to 2005. And there were many things that happened during these times. One of the things that I want to talk about isn't necessarily relevant specifically to the later years, but the earlier years, when we put something into the bylaws, which I find very fascinating until today, is that we mandated that the board has 2 women and 2 youth on it. And as Kamran told you earlier, mashallah, we have over 1/3 that are women on the board right now, and 1/4 of them that we would consider youth. A lot of that has changed. So I'd love for you to enlighten us on how we got to that point and what led to that.
Assalamu alaikum. I just first want to put a little bit perspective on 5 of us sitting up here. They're not giants. There are many more people among the audience here who deserve more to be here than we are. Alhamdulillah, you all placed your trust in us, and we served as the presidents of MCC with full recognition of what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said. Sayyidul Qawmi Akhdamuha. The leaders of the nation are its servants. So you could call that we were the chief servants of the community. So the questions were asked were about the bylaws. You know, the MCC bylaws have been very progressive bylaws since the beginning. In the beginning, we said the 21-member board of MCC should have at least 2 women and 2 young people in the age of 16 to 25. Later on, we modified it, made it even more progressive. You see, I think right now about 6 members of the board are required to be women, and about 6 members of the board or 4 members of the board are required to be among the young generation. And we decided to change the age criterion to say that the young professionals, to get young professionals into the board. MCC, if you look at the MCC, the consultative process becomes very clear, even by just looking at if you look at the women's section, you will see that half the women's section is covered with curtain and the other half is not covered with curtain. And this was in consultation with the women themselves. Some of the women did not feel comfortable without praying without a curtain. So we took a little survey, and half of the women said they want a curtain, half of the women said they did not want a curtain, and that's how we ended up with it. Now, regarding the second 4 years of my term, we have made, in the first 4 years of the term, when we purchased the board school, and we had qualified with the village, some of the village residents, and alhamdulillah, we took that fight in a way that at the end of the fight, there was no animosity between the Morton Grove officials and MCC officials. We made a good deal with them, they liked it, and we liked it. In my second term, we had the great challenge of building a masjid on the property, and again there was a lot of opposition from the village, and again we said the same thing. Alhamdulillah, all the village trustees at this time and the mayor are the best friends of MCC, and we like them and they like us, and so this is the way I think any argument that have to be made, the arguments have to be made, and won in a way that you do not lose the friendship. You rather improve the friendship among the people. Absolutely. And alhamdulillah, we are very glad that we were able to do that.
It's amazing to be able to understand. We talked about how we purchased purchased the MCC building, we purchased the MEC building. The challenges of building, we had the permit issues and how we work with the village and how our relationship is with the village now. So one of the things that I want to talk about with my next president up here is Thariki Mohan Zambul. He served in 2008 and 2009, and I had the fortunate ability to be on board during that time. And we had MEC built during your term, and that's when, tying this all back as we go through the journey of how they pass along the torch and how one administration picks up the work of the next. I want to take this a little bit further back, Mohan Zambul. You work with the city, you've been involved with MCC. I want to know how you came to get involved with MCC and some of the highlights that you had during your tenure here.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I came to the United States on June 10th, 1972 as a young student. And I didn't know anyone, so I had one acquaintance. We talked about our life in Pakistan. So he said, there is a Pakistan student organization, they are having annual elections. So I said, oh, I'd like to see there, go there. So next day I get a call from someone, Abdul Hamid Dogar. And he said, welcome to Chicago. I'm going to send somebody, can you drive to College of DuPage? I didn't know where DuPage is, I didn't know my address when I came. It's like 10th day. So he said, somebody will come and pick you up tomorrow. And it was Sayyid Azmatullah Qadri. So he came, picked me up, took me to his house, fed me a nice breakfast, and went there. So they said, you have to come next day too. So I went next day. And
No, sorry.
Brother Smart Patel came to pick me up. So from there I found out about the MCC. When I was coming here, we were concerned if there will be any mosque or not. But that was my introduction to MCC. And they wanted me to run for the presidency of Pakistan Student Association. I wasn't interested because I didn't even start school. So I said, no, thank you. So the next 8-9 years was school. Evening, morning works. And then early 80s, when I got married, then I said, so we had to get close to the mosque. So it is ironic and odd timing that in 1984, I was working with MCC with Brother Yusuf Bey as Special Events Committee under Dr. Akhtar Hussain, whose son, I'm working for him as a finance director for the MCC. And my job was right after Iftar, standing there next to the box, donate generously. That was my job. But anyway, through the time, fast forward, whatever I could do, different positions I did. Eventually, 2007, my the community somehow decided to nominate me to run for the presidency of MCC, which I did, which I won. But unfortunately, I think I was the only president whose election was challenged. Don't worry, I will not go into detail at all what happened. But the impetus of that challenge was that we were able to amend our bylaws so some of those issues will not come up in the future. So, moving and fast forward, it was the thrill of my life when I was standing next to Dr. Kassuddin, having a shovel in my hand, trying to have the groundbreaking for this Martin Grove Mosque. So, of course, Dr. Kassuddin, Dr. Abdul Sattar worked very hard to build the structure, and then comes my time, and it was the really great humbling moment for me to have the first Tarawih prayer starting under my term. So it was everlasting with me. And while we were building the mosque, we needed the fundraising. I think first time we ever did to have the fundraising under the tent on the ground of the Martin Grove Mosque. And of course, know if you need to raise funds. I was traveling to the Middle East. I raised some funds there. One day I get a call from a young man who is in the audience. I won't name him. He said, "Uncle, I know you're raising fundraising. Can I help you?" I said, please. I met with him, had coffee in the next restaurant next to MCC. But he's not saying anything. He's just talking, had coffee. I said, he called me, what the plan? So he gave me a check. He said, "Uncle, the check for you $25,000. I said, mashallah. So next week or so, when we had the fundraising dinner, so we, mashallah, sold a lot of tables. I think we raised $300,000-$400,000. And he came to me, he said, "Uncle, this is what you should do. I will match up to $100,000 if, after selling the tickets, if you can raise more funds." I think that was the fastest fundraising I ever had in my life. That when I told the community, our current president was my vice president at that time. So I tell the community that if we can, it's Isha time, over 15 minutes left, somebody is willing to match $100,000. So please help me out quickly. Within 15-20 minutes, we are able to raise more than $125,000 plus $100,000. So those are the lasting moments that stay with me. And last year, the high school establishment. I was reading in Mary, and last year we were able to start the high school. So these are the lasting moments for me in the MCC. Thank you.
And I'm sure, mashallah, this is a round of applause for Mohan's uncle. There were so many moments in all of their histories, and it's so hard to be able to ask one question and then try to time box them. This is such a challenge. They all have such a great history that, inshallah, we get a chance to get into more of. That building was $6 million. I think at the end of it, it became up to $7 million, so it was a big thing that you had to go through in terms of fundraising. The last president that I have, and one that I had the good fortune of being your secretary for, is Muhammad Sarwar Nasser, uncle, and he served from 2014 to 2017. I was probably a critic of yours when you first came on, but at the end of your term, I was in love. This man pulled the youth up and you know, really did as much as he can to embody a youth spirit at MCC. One of the things that you did a lot was the education aspect. You had the MCC Academy named, MCC Academy, and the high school opening all during your presidency. There's also the zebra crossing, the MCC balcony was finally put in. But one of the things that I want to focus on is one that has impacted almost everyone here and their children here, which is the Sunday schools. I'm a Sunday school graduate of MCC, as are so many others. But standardizing the curriculum and having something in terms of standards for our education at Sunday school or our weekend schools in general was a challenge. Talk to me about what that was like.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. You know, when we talk about MCC, I do not see any challenge. In fact, MCC has given us so much that today I am sitting here because of MCC. Today I am the trainer of CIODC because of MCC. Today I am on the Idna Relief's advisory board is because of MCC. So MCC has given us much more than we could give to MCC. And during that, I did not see any challenge really doing anything except because I was groomed by my peers like Brother Atikur Rahman, Brother Abdul Majid, Dr. Shamsuddin, and Dr. Abdul Ghafoor and Afsar Ali. They were all with us. We were all arguing, happily, fighting, everything. And that was a tough time perhaps. And that challenge really helped us to move further. So we did develop, with all the help of these people I talked about, we developed not only the curriculum of weekend school, we also developed the board exam of the weekend schools, which is not anywhere else so far. So that we developed at that time. And having said that, then I was told you got to join Habib Qadri in the full-time school because full-time school was in deficit at that time. Alhamdulillah, we were team together, Habib Qadri and myself. We got the school out of the deficit. Not only that, students' enrollment started increasing and we ended up buying a new building in Skokie, third campus. When one of my peers was asking me, you are taking the charge be paying that, and alhamdulillah, within no time, we were able to pay all the loans of that building also. Not only that, during that time, we said, okay, now this full-time school is growing up so much, we need to change its name. So we used to have NEC, MCC full-time school, and he and we talked about it, and we changed the name to MCC Academy. Not only that, then we said we need to have the high school. Again, there were so many challenges, many people were against. In fact, many of our donors were against, they are still perhaps against that, but we said no, we got to have the high school. Alhamdulillah, with the help of our peers, we were able to have the high school now, and we changed the name of that MCC College Prep High School. And then we said, okay, Habib Qadri, mashallah, is still growing up, he is our product. Let's promote him from the principal now to the superintendent. So we promoted him to the superintendent position, alhamdulillah, and then we said, okay, we need to go to the MCC building also. And there, I always quote this one Urdu couplet, so that it gives me the energy. And that Urdu couplet of Mirza Ghalib is, lazam nahi ke sabko mile ek sa jawab, aao na hum bhi sair kare ohe Turki. This building, this balcony was approved like 30 years ago or something by our peers, but they never built it. Unfortunately, they could not build because of some perhaps political reasons or whatever. But alhamdulillah, we were able to build it within no time. It was the record time, within 3 months we were able to build the balcony. And then we had some issues of the safety also at MCC. And when I said, let's have some zebra crossing near MCC, everyone told me, oh, it's not going to happen. We have already gone to the politicians and this and that. I said again the same, lazim nahi ke sabko mile ek sa jawab, aao na hum bhi sair kare ohe Turki. So I went to the agreement, I went to the city, I took the pictures myself, and alhamdulillah, we have that zebra crossing. Not only that, I went over there also. And life goes on. One last thing which I say the biggest challenge is to pass the baton to the younger people. As Ali said, he was my secretary. Not only that, I made sure that a homegrown person becomes the president of MCC. And alhamdulillah, we have come around. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah, I want to be able to thank all presidents, the past ones that are here, Najibullah uncle, Majid uncle. There's many more, Qadri uncle, who's my Taya. They've all done such great things, and you can see that it's injustice to try to shorten everything. At the board currently, we're indebted to all the work that you've all put together. A big round of applause for all our past presidents. All right, thank you all. Yes, we'll move on to the next part of the program, inshallah.